welcome back. I'm not sure exactly what to do here, but I might have to look at the walkthrough a little bit. But I think like you touch the knights and then they move. Yeah. And then there's a boss here. I had some notes about, because I kind of went through everything. It's about just, I guess would trepidatious be the right word? Just about talking about the two controversial things that people don't like to talk about, which is just politics and religion. I talked about the Bible a little bit last week, and gay marriage and stuff, and I felt boomerang him. I was thinking this week, well, maybe I shouldn't, because people are starting to watch now, so maybe I should stay away from those topics. How do I beat this guy? Use arrows. Okay. So, I don't know. Maybe I will stop eventually talking about this stuff. But still, nobody's watching still, so I still feel comfortable doing it, even though maybe I shouldn't. And also, I don't really have anything else to talk about right now. I just have those. I have a couple notes about. The problem is, I've been reading the Koran, so I have notes about that. Usually I just read, like before I was reading 1984 and I was talking about that. That is cool. This tablet is like this ancient tablet, but it's not really, because it's a dream, and it's this tablet is designed for me specifically. It's just said, "Cast away, you should know the truth." The Windfish put this here, I guess, to tell me. But it's cool. I don't know. That's really cool. I like that. Like this. There's this ancient temple, and you go inside it, and you see this thing that's like, Link, you should know the truth. This island is an illusion. Mind blown. Oh, that's cool too. I didn't know. Ooh, this is cool. I like this. I hope in the Switch version they expand. I mentioned that before on some of these ideas, because there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with this. I was just thinking now, like, what they brought up this idea. Well, nobody really knows. They could do something like, maybe Link starts to think that, am I real? Am I just part of the dream? I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know. They probably don't get too deep into it, but yeah, he could be like maybe he's afraid to open. Yeah, that's one thing I don't really super like about the Zelda games is Link. I mean, it's part of the design of the game, but Link doesn't really have much of a personality. But it would be cool if he started to like question his quest, and be like, I like this island and I like the people here. Maybe I shouldn't wake up the windfish, or maybe if I do, I'm part of the dream and I'll stop existing. That would be really cool if in the new game, in this game I'm pretty sure it just ends with you waking up the windfish. But it would be cool if they switched it in the new one and we're just like, Link decided not to wake up the windfish. That would be cool. I have to find the northern shrine. Okay, I kind of wasted a lot of time talking about that. I don't know if I have enough time to... I guess I do. Well, I'm reading the Koran. And, it's interesting that I'm not as into it as I thought it would be. I thought it would be just very similar to the New Testament, and just kind of like a continuation of like, love your neighbor and be a good person. But I'm really not getting that impression. It is a little bit harder to understand. I think, like I mentioned before, it's the New Testament and the Old Testament are very story centric, and the Quran isn't. It's just the Quran is more similar to, seems like the Torah, which is like a lot of rules. And whenever I don't know, I feel like Christians' least favorite part of the Bible is the Old Testament and all the rules and everything, because they don't really apply to us. And this is the key. Oh, I have the key. Okay. It's so much more. I guess the Old Testament is kind of similar. So I guess that's why. I guess I was assuming the Quran would be similar to the New Testament, but it's actually more similar to the Old Testament. And I don't like that because obviously I'm a Christian, so I like the New Testament better. And the New Testament's more important to us. It's just, yeah, the Quran is similar to the Old Testament, and the Old Testament is just very negative. It's very like, it's like, don't do this, like, all these people who are doing all these bad things, there are so many of them, and they're all going to be in the fire, and they're all going to be, it's just verse after verse of like, these people will be in the fire, these people will be consumed by the whatever. It's so little, there's so little hope. The New Testament is all about Jesus, and Jesus is all about hope, and to an extent I feel like the even if it doesn't explicitly, okay, what am I doing? Explicitly say like you should be, it doesn't explicitly condone violence against people who you disagree with, the Quran. It does implicitly imply that because it's like it's verse after verse of like how important it is to not do stuff to anger God, and like so I understand why there is this kind of religious anxiety almost that seems to be stronger in Muslim religions. I don't know, maybe I am speaking a little bit out of turn. I mean, obviously I am. I'm not even all the way through the Koran, and I didn't even understand most of it anyway, so I shouldn't really act like an authority, but this is just the impression I'm getting. I can understand why a religion based around this book would have more anxiety and more tendency to be more violent than Christianity would. Jesus never condones any kind of violence. There is such a thing as righteous anger, but it's so rare. I mean, Jesus only gets angry like once, and the worst thing he does is turn a table over. That's so. And we're supposed to be. I mean, if Jesus only gets that angry, we're supposed to be like even, because we're not God. Jesus had the benefit of knowing that he was God, and that what he was doing was actually righteous. But we are not perfect, so there should be some doubt when you get angry. Maybe you're not being righteous. Maybe you are just giving into your emotions, and so you shouldn't be so quick to anger, even less quick than Jesus was, which was basically never. Yeah, I mean, what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you? It happened to Jesus 1,000 times worse. He was tortured in the worst way possible. And what did he do? He took it. He didn't complain. The worst thing he did was he questioned God for a second on the cross. He said, "God, why did you forsake me?" That's the worst thing he did. He never got violent. He never fought back. He always turned the other cheek. There's that story of like Peter cutting off the guard's ear, and Jesus has a good quote. I forget what it is. he's like live by the sword, die by the sword, basically, I think. I guess I had always kind of thought I was just a Christian because my parents were, but actually reading the Koran makes me think I actually kind of agree with Jesus's outlook on life, and I just never. It actually made me feel more connected with Christianity, which is interesting. I guess if you're a Christian, maybe you should try to read the Koran, and it would give you a different perspective on why you are the way you are, or why you believe what you believe. There's one thing about the Bible that's... What did I just get? Did I get a key? There's a common theme in the Bible, and it's... I also noticed that they mention it in the Quran, which is religious people, Christians, we walk on a narrow path, and secular people walk on the easy path, the wide path. I've never really liked that idea. it's I think it's a problem with Christianity that leads us to believe like we're special, we're better, we're superior to other people. And I honestly don't believe it's true. I think most people are good, and most people try to be good, and I guess, I don't know. I guess I really don't believe what most Christians believe, which is in order to get to heaven, you have to like specifically accept Jesus and be like and follow all the Christian rules that our Christianity has come up with. But I really feel like to get to heaven, you just have to make a choice to accept good and reject evil. That's all you have to do. For Christians, that's accepting Jesus. But I think if you have never heard about Jesus, or if you have and it's been explained to you in the wrong way, then it's not your fault for not accepting Jesus. And as long as you accept, I don't know, I guess I'm still kind of refining what I believe about this, but it really doesn't make sense to say you have to do all the specific things that Christians believe you have to do to get to heaven and to be saved. I think all you have to do is, like, everybody feels something inside them that makes them want to be good, and it can be a struggle to accept that. And if you do, then you get to heaven, and if you don't, then you're not saved. And you can always ask for forgiveness, and if you repent, then you're saved too. So if that's how it works, then it seems pretty easy, and most people do that. So the whole idea of the narrow and the wide path, I don't really like too much. I'm just not doing anything here. Do I have to kill these guys? I don't know if there's anything else really. I think if the New Testament sounded like this, I might not be a Christian. So much stress and anxiety. It's so negative. It's a little bit rambly. It's kind of saying the same thing over and over again. Doesn't get specific. Those are just notes I had about the Koran. There's such a thing as righteous anger. Jesus knew he was God, so we have to be more humble. I guess that's it. I guess I can stop there for the day. Oh, maybe I have to do this and then go back. Let's just test that out and then I'll stop. Okay. I have no idea. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow.